Welcome back to Sports Live. We are dribbling away. This is to Awii. We got the winners basketball camp. It's a 3-day inclusive experience for aspiring youngsters between the ages of 12 to 19 years of age. In studio, we have the man. He's spearheading the camp, Renaldo Cortez. He's also the Soweto Panthers coach. Welcome to Sports Live. It's like a slam dunk having you here.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
So the future of basketball looking bright. Tell us more about this camp and what are the talents and the skills and how do we get the kids together for something like this?
Well, thank you. So the basketball camp, it's a fundamentals camp where we're teaching the skills of how to play the game of basketball that is much more important than just putting the uniform on and playing the game. In order to play the game, you have to know how to play the game. So what we're doing is teaching children how to play the game from the basics, what the game is all about, you know, the fundamentals and reasons for all the aspects of the game. And then also on the other side, character development and working with young people and how they interact in society. So it's more of a, not just basketball, but it's also a way of life. How do you take the game from the floor and transfer it into your day-to-day lifestyle?
So how does this camp differ from the camps you've had previously?
So what I've come to learn is in the States, basketball is at a different pace, not because of anything other than the opportunity. Here in South Africa, when I played professionally here in 1998, basketball was at a high level. But a lot of change happened and the game went on a decline. So where the fundamentals were at the root of growth, now the root of growth is more about gameplay, which is important. It's good to look good at the show, but before you get to the show, you've got to put in the work. You got to practice. You have to learn what the game represents, and the fundamentals are important.
What are those fundamentals for some of us who have kids and who are watching and thinking, man, I'd like my child to get involved? I look at Victor Wembanyama and you go, yeah, that young kid is he's a game changer.
Sure.
We want those kind of game changers as well.
Of course. So what you get with fundamentals such as just on the floor, routine repetition, practicing over and over again. So a lot of times just in everyday life, some of the young people and people in general, they will do things 1 or 2 times and then they fail, or what they are taught is failure. And then they won't continue to practice because they feel defeated. So something as simple as practicing over and over again at the same thing, where you develop a system of strength and confidence. You learn from what caused you not to be great at that. So I find that those fundamentals such as that in everyday life, a lot of these young people, they don't practice. They don't put in the hard time of repetition and, okay, I made a mistake here, let me go back, correct it, let me keep practicing the right way to do it. That part is missing. So you find that in everyday life. At home, they don't practice cleaning the house, practice self-care, practice mindfulness. They don't practice what it means to share, culture, tradition just meaning ideas that they've turned into a system of everyday lifestyle. So basketball teaches a culture. You know, what we want to do is bring back a healthy component to the culture. Honestly, basketball has the power to change the world. I'm from Cleveland, so when you look at a lot of the basketball players coming from Cleveland, Ohio in the States, you're talking about LeBron James. People don't know Steph Curry was born in Cleveland. His father, Dale, played for the Cavaliers. Earl Boykins, Ruben Patterson, Charles I mean, I can go through a list of greats. Ben Wallace, who played community college in Cleveland. There's just so many. But basketball for us, and even for women basketball players, because I believe in fair play, fair exchange. Basketball was our protective net. It keeps children out of trouble. It keeps them engaged in academics. It keeps them engaged in their families. And it also teaches the ability to build happiness within an environment where you work hard, you play harder, and if you're successful at the work that you put in, you're going to get back victory every single time. And that's where the practice comes in. That's where the reps come in, the routines of repetition, and the process of doing it again and again. So that's what these children are going to learn.
I think this is more than just life skills. It's and more than just a culture. It's something that will carry with you for the rest of your life, whether you don't find yourself on the court, but even as a coach yourself. What are the requirements for the kids to become part of this camp?
They can go to the web link. They can have their parents take a peek. They can look through and see all the different aspects of what we have and the generality of the program. They can register their children online. And from there, the cost of the camp is just Rand 1,000 for 3 days, which will include 6 meals, a lot of healthy components to the camp where they'll meet great coaches, great former players, some active professional players here, men and women. And they'll be able to hear from people who are successful, but a lot of that is attributed to their life path going through basketball.
And what is that link?
So it's Awii Sports .Africa, but we have on the flyer as well, and I'll leave some here in studio with you. And then there's some links on social media as well, but I can share that with you, and the parents will be able to know.
And you can share some of the coaches that will be there. I know you've spent a lot of time, you're American, but you've spent a lot of time here in South Africa.
Yes.
Will there be a bit of South African coaching influence as well in these camps?
Absolutely, because I think developing the coaches as well as the players is what's going to bring the equity of the game back to a prominent level. So there will be some professional coaches here that'll visit to the camp or be a part of the drill stations in the camp. Former pro players or current pro players, some of the collegiate players that are here, male and women. So I think, you know, some of the great people there, maybe some guests. So I do have some folks that are here from the States that will be surprised.
That's a good surprise,
yes,
indeed. And I know that, you know, no surprise, basketball is not as popular as football. We've just had the Soweto Derby, and I remember we were chatting off, and it's not as big as we'd like basketball to be. What are the plans for the growth of the sport in South Africa?
One, we definitely will be doing cross-training with his football players because, you know, I played college soccer in the States. I had an opportunity to play professionally when I was in Cleveland, but basketball for me made more sense. Connecting those parts where you have cross-training. So a lot of the things in basketball, they relate with football. Then with the basketball side of it, we really are going to have an opportunity to just go out, meet, greet, and engage people. And as you meet and greet and engage people, people want to feel a belonging. They want to feel a part of a tribe. I have a component to the project called the Tribe of Hoop. And that's something that the young people will learn during the camp, where we look at the fundamentals of how we work together in the circle and how the children will work together in the circle of having a basketball. So there's a very close correlation between the tribe, the circle of life, and basketball being a connector as a tool for the lifestyle of every day.
And have you had a meet with any professional or semi-professional basketball players here in this country? Because you had to look at the social aspect of the country. Many so-called professional sports athletes have full-time jobs,
Sure,
but also they, you know, dip their toe into something like basketball.
Sure.
Who have you met? And are there any names that you would recommend? You know, these are the people to watch in the growth of South African football and basketball.
You know, as you said, football is quite prominent. Basketball-wise, there's so many great players here. You know, the MBB club, the Soweto Panthers, which is a club I coach, the goalie team. I mean, a lot of those guys, when I was a professional here in '98, a lot of them were a part of the game. We competed hard against each other. So I see the equity of these guys in the past. Now they're a part of the game today in the teaching component. And, you know, basketball, like I said, it's very powerful. What it has done for youth in America is just unbelievable. I mean, here's a LeBron James. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire now. He's a family person. So where the
Let's
streets...
not talk about his son, that he's part of the family as well in his
both
team.
Both sons. His daughter is a player. So, you know, it's a beautiful game. It brings a family together at the table of hoop where they can share and look at ways to transform their family and individual lives, individually and collectively, and then the community at large. Basketball, for instance, I was in Alex Day and passing out flyers, and where so many young people don't have something to do that can take them out of trouble.
Yeah.
Basketball fits that missing piece.
And what are the basketball courts looking like in a township like Soweto? And is there growth for more in other townships, perhaps?
Honestly, there's a growth for a basketball hoop in every yard, on every street, because, again, it used to be that way, and then it stopped. In the States, you'll find basketball hoops on most houses. It's not as popular like it used to be, but it's popular. Coming up through the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, you know, basketball was at a high-pitch fever. Now, it's like that for women. And I think the fire behind the game of basketball for women, everyone should take notice. because that is the proper movement of how the game can transform a whole social class and economy, a whole community around the world. And it creates an environment of closeness and excitement. And people need to be excited. We have enough trouble. You know, there's trouble every day. So basketball helps to take away that focus on negative things, even for adults.
Absolutely. Renaldo Cortez, what can I say? I can already feel basketball elevating itself to new heights, and the excitement that builds, that comes with it. So thank you very much. Tell us more about that website again, that link, so that parents can get involved. Let's see if this can help. If we can maybe zoom in on it at some point. We'll definitely get this up on our website as well, so you can check it out if you want to get your kids signed on to this incredible program, this incredible camp. It's 3 days, but it's life-changing. Yes. Thank you very much.